Core. You are listening to Core, a show on Code Zero Radio that plays bands located in the Fox Cities, a show to find and discover new music. Hosted by Andy McNamara.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fox Cities Core. I'm your host, Andy McNamara. We have taken a little break from live shows. It's good to be back. It's been about a month since our last band in studio interview, so I'm excited to get back into it. Without any further ado, this show's a doozy. But that's bad. A bad one to start off with. Doozey's a Whammy award-winning band. They're from the Appleton area. They formed in 2010. And earlier this year, they were fresh off a show at Summerfest, and they also have a new song and video that they're premiering during the show today. I'd like to welcome Dee and Andy from Doozey. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty tired.
I'm doing good. I got my poison. We're all good.
Well, I got coffee. That's pretty close.
You guys have been playing a lot of shows. You've got to think about a week off. Is that accurate? Yep. So the reason you're here is you've got a new song and video. The song is the first off of an EP that's going to be released. When is the new EP coming out?
Bum, bum, bum. The 12th.
The 12th.
Yep. So next week.
Can you tell me a little bit about the song that you're premiering today? Is it the whole thing coming out today or just the single?
So the song will be available on YouTube right now. We wanted to bump our views up a little bit on that before the EP came out. So, the song's called "Do You Want to Get High with Me?" and it's a song about love. I like to say, because when you say it's about drugs, people kind of at it sometimes. But it's just about how people use love like a drug, kind of thing. So.
And then, how many other songs are going to be on this EP?
4.
4 songs.
Yeah. So 5 total.
When you were here back in January of this year, you played a clip of one of the songs.
Yep.
At that point, how far were you in the process? Most of the tracking must have been done.
Yeah, it was pretty close to being all done. Just waiting on the finishing touches from studio and then mastering and stuff. So.
And the full EP, when that comes out, people get a chance to hear what Doozey's sound has been kind of turning into.
Yeah.
On the show in January, you mentioned you're heading into more of an electronic, not more of an electronic, but you had some more electronic elements sort of added and loops. Mm-hmm. Doing some of that live, and I'm sure you've been playing the new EP live already to kind of test the waters. How has it been doing, kind of going in that direction from a live perspective?
It's been good. I mean, we have a couple of excuse me. We already have a couple covers that we do where we use track elements to it to kind of spice things up a little bit. So we were already used to playing with a click in our ears and playing along with the track a little bit. So we've only been playing really this one that we're releasing today for everybody a couple times, and it's gone pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
And Dee, how is that playing? I'm guessing typically you wouldn't be playing with the click. Is it?
No, not normally, but I think just over the last few years, getting more comfortable with it, like especially with like recording and stuff in the studio, it just helps keep everything on track. And like, when you run into those issues where you can't hear certain things when you're playing live and stuff, that definitely helps keep it on track, because usually when you play from, I have a pad, drum pad, so it keeps everything at like the same level, so at least you can hear, one of those things, and they'll help keep you on track. And usually during shows anyways, I mean, I know a lot of us drummers, we kind of pretty much know the song, so you remember to play the beat and know where you are in the song. That usually carries everything. And even if something else is a little off, as long as you keep your beat, then the song should be pretty good.
So do you use in-ear monitors, like the actual in-ears when you're playing live?
Yep.
How long have you been using those for?
Couple years.
Yeah, it's been a couple years now.
Maybe
at first
3
it
or
was
4.
3 or 4. At first it was really weird doing that because we had just been using wedges and floor monitors the whole time, and making that switch was really weird at first, but once you got used to it and doing it a lot more, I personally would never go back to floor monitors. I
Yeah.
love having the in-ears in and being able to control everything because most guys that we have run our sound, we're able to control it ourselves on our phones or tablets or whatever, and so we can get each individual volume the way we like it, and it's a lot easier.
And you can turn it up and it's right in your ear as opposed to, can I hear this over the guitar or the drums?
Does that block out a lot of the crowd noise? Like if the crowd is talking, does that kind of muffle that out?
Usually it does. Sorry.
No, you're
Usually
good.
it does
Go ahead.
wearing both of them for me at least. That's why usually I'll take one out. For the most part, I can hear like everything, and I have our tracks split, so I gotta click in one ear and then the track in another ear, so you can pretty much whatever you want to hear you can keep in your ear. But I usually take one out when we're not playing, so that way I can hear like what's going on outside.
We've also had a couple sound guys that set up a mic hidden towards the front of the stage that's aimed at the crowd so that we can have them turn up the ambience a little bit. That way it's just not, how's it going? And then you can't hear anything, and then you're like, cool, and then you just move on.
So if that is, getting all mixed for your in-ears with crowd noise, it sounds like you're set up pretty well to get a live album recorded fairly easily if you ever wanted to do that, right?
Yeah,
we could, honestly.
We've talked about it in the past doing that, so.
Something that could be released as a special sort of, here's this.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'd probably have to pull some, do an all original show and pull some old songs out of the bag, but that'd be pretty cool. Do like a hour or something worth of live album work. Or
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the parts about being a musician that maybe some of the viewers aren't really accustomed to. Since we did cover the history of the band the last time you guys were here,
That's right,
You
yeah.
don't need to go through all of that again. It was pretty interesting. If people want to check it out, they can find it on our Code Zero Radio Facebook page or the YouTube Fox Cities Core page, and we go through when you guys are a 4-piece down to a 3-piece, and then all the recording through, and the awesome record covers, the Scary Spaghetti cover, and,
That's right.
and all of that. So it's we'll go through all that. But so as far as releasing music right now, Dee, I heard you talking about DistroKid earlier. Being a musician, are you guys doing hard copies of the EP, or is it just strictly digital?
Just doing digital around. In the past, we've done the hard copies, and we've talked about just doing a very limited amount from like ourselves and friends and for giveaway type deals. But we've just found going digital is a lot easier, and so much to pay to get the hard copies, and half the people these days don't even know what CDs are anymore when we're playing at our gigs. So,
like, here, you want a CD? Sure.
I don't know how to play this. I don't know.
I think we're better off getting like some records and vinyl.
Yeah, they know what
copies.
vinyls are.
Yeah,
we know that.
Like we're going even farther back. We'll get a vinyl and we'll play that. But CDs now we're good.
Has vinyl been something you guys talked about?
I actually did talk about it, but it is pretty pricey. So maybe down the road, if we got like a pre-order, and people wanted to pre-order that, cover the cost, because it does cost a lot. And obviously, the more you get, the cheaper it is. But we don't want to buy 500 vinyl copies and only sell 10 of them. So
Yeah, and this, I guess, if you were going to do a vinyl, this is just an idea here, just spitballing. Greatest hits, Doozey's greatest hits on vinyl, because then you can get all the best of the best.
Hey, that'd be
The
good
old
too.
days on there and all that stuff, and put it all out as one. The EP that's out there. Okay, so you decided to put on DistroKid. You don't have any hard copies, so people have to buy it online. Do you get any residuals or anything from plays? Is it to the point yet where you're getting paid for anything? Or are you just pretty much making your money as a band from playing shows?
Most of it is from shows. We do get some money from, all of our plays and views and stuff. It's not that much, but we do get some. So go out there, download it, listen to it as many times as you can, and just play it once a day. That'll be good for us.
Yeah, any little amount helps. And usually when we get the payments sent to us from these sites and whatever, it just typically goes into our little band account that we have, and we just use it to save up for when we want to get more merch to sell, or just a constant circle of putting money in and sending money out. So
When you guys had your earlier releases, is there anything like? Are you glad you did physical copies of those? Or do you
Yeah.
wish you would have just kept those digital?
no, I'm glad we did the hard copies then, because when we started, CDs were still a prominent way of. I mean, they were kind of going on the downswing already, but it was still worth it enough to get those and then to give them out at big shows and whatnot. And it was just cool being a younger band at the time and having those CDs, because that was always a dream of mine as a kid, listening to albums, wanting one of those. So it was just kind of a personal goal of mine that I achieved, and it was always nice giving those away and knowing that they were out in the music sphere somewhere, So it also just kind of gave that little extra push to keep going, keep doing it. It's cool.
You guys recently played Summerfest. It's not your first time playing Summerfest. How did it go this year?
Good. It was fun.
Yeah.
Usually we're thrown at the back end of Summerfest, and all the sound guys are kind of a little crabby and kind of fed up with running bands. And so it was nice to get opening day where all the sound guys were, oh, we love doing this. It's awesome. So it was nice. Sound guys were great, and show was really good. And I think for being opening day, we weren't really sure what to expect, if it would be busy, if it would be a little slower, if people would stay, but it ended up being a pretty good crowd for opening day on a Thursday at noon or whatever time we played at. So,
Somewhere around there.
yeah, it was great.
How many times have you played Summerfest?
Jeez, like
6 or 7 times now.
somewhere,
Yeah.
So it must be like the first time you played it, it must have been somewhat like intimidating, and then you must just go there now and it's just like playing another show that you've played a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, it's Summerfest though. So
It's still really exciting.
always
It's just that anxiety and the stress and intimidation's gone. Now we can just kind of chill out and enjoy it.
I saw some videos online, which was I liked a lot because I couldn't make it down there, but Ryan was really getting into it. But he kind of always gets into the shows, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's probably the most energetic of us all. Well, I'll just say he moves a lot. So
He does his little square dance routine that he has. Love you,
he'll
Ryan.
be
Love you,
super
Ryan.
tired, but he'll still be moving around.
Does Ryan ever try to get you guys to move around as much as he does? And you guys move around quite a bit too, but Ryan's just kind of off the charts.
He likes to pick on D a lot. He likes to try to get D to move, even though he's stuck behind the kit and can't really do anything. But Ryan's always, every other song, do a drum solo, do this, do that.
Well, since Ryan's not here today, we can pick on him as
Yeah,
much
that's
as we
right.
want.
He also
Exactly.
does that outside of band too.
Yeah,
He's like, do you
right.
do this? Do you do that?
Reading at a restaurant, do a drum solo. No, this is not the place nor the time for that.
So can you tell us something about Summerfest that people might not know as far as being a band that plays at Summerfest? Do you get access to other stage areas? Do you get like food?
You get access to your one stage, but then you get like a free pass the whole day that you're there to go hang out and do whatever. They give you drinks and coolers and stuff in the back. There's usually cool little dressing rooms behind each stage you get to hang out in. When you get there, you have to park by the river, and then you load all your gear into a van, and then they bring you to the stage, and you have to unload your gear, and then you set up your gear on the stage, and then you have to tear down, and then go back in the van, and then drive back to the parking lot. So it's a lot of work, but
It's a little tedious process.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I don't think like as far as food or anything, it'd be cool to get some stuff. But usually it's like vendors and stuff that are there anyway, so it's kind of hard for, to get food that way unless you're, a bigger band or act like Steve Aoki or something. Like he had a bunch of, snacks in his in his room and stuff.
His
so
room was right next to ours, and
Yeah.
D may or may not have snuck in there to check things out.
I wasn't the only one.
That's it sounds pretty cool. It must have been an awesome experience. And
Always is, yeah.
did you meet any new fans after Summerfest? And is it
Yeah.
typical to have people after a show come up and give you the compliments like great show? Or
Yeah, it's always cool. I mean, depending on how we play, we usually get more or less. But yeah, it's always cool when you get done, and it's a nice kind of break from having to tear down, and you're all hot and sweaty, and coming down from the energetic pace of having to play, and people come up and just say nice things, and we've been lucky in our time as a band to kind of always have people that come up and say nice stuff. Not too much have anybody ever come up and said
Hey,
bad
yes.
things. Yeah. Usually they just say that online, but
So, sometimes it's a little it's a little rough at Summerfest, like to go out and really talk to people right away because we have to pack up our stuff and everything.
they get you in and out of there real
Get you
quick.
in and out of there real fast because the next act, as well as we want to get your stuff back. And once you come back, though, it's a couple people notice you, so that's pretty cool.
Did you have a lot of friends from the Fox Cities that go down there to see you guys this year?
Had a couple.
Yeah, a couple. In years past, we've had a few more show up, but because we were playing on a weekend, it was a lot easier. But with it being a Thursday this year, there was a few. So thanks for the few that came out and saw us and took off of work.
Yeah.
We were talking before the show started about Justin Perkins and how he mastered the EP, and I think Dear Andy, I don't remember which one, had said that you think that he mastered everything that Doozey's ever done.
At least all of our singles and this EP he has. In prior years it was Tony Anders. He did like all of our recording and he did our mixing and mastering. So
Yeah, but outside it
he-
was just a couple things that Tony
Yeah,
did. Outside
yeah.
of that, Perkins was the
But Perkins has
go-to
been
guy for
pretty
us.
much for even when Tony was doing stuff, he did some mastering. But I think like our first album, maybe Tony did. But yeah, he's been a good guy to go to.
How important do you think like mastering is, and can you explain to the listeners if they're not familiar, like what goes into, you record and then as far as like the mixing and the mastering, like how that process works? Do you guys want to explain that process?
So I still don't understand really what mastering is. I just know you should do it, and that's why we keep going to Perkins, because whenever you have a question about it or whatever, he is one of the smartest guys we've ever met, and he explains everything in great detail. And even after we're done reading it, we're still kind of like, okay, but yeah, you record, you track everything, and then you rely on your producers and engineers to kind of get all the levels set, and then the mastering is just kind of. I still don't know. It just sounds better. It
My
just sounds
partial
better.
understanding, I think it's just trying to mix it or not mix it, but like get all of your tracks to the correct level that for all platforms is like kind of at that same level, and just making it sound good and that nothing like peaks too much and you don't get these random noises in your ear that from something being too loud or too low or that you can't hear something. So just making sure all across the board everything sounds good, and through all platforms when it comes to you that it all sounds the same.
It's been the platforms. It's been a headache because each platform's been kind of doing things different as far as like the volumes of things, and
Yep.
it's almost getting to the point where if you want everything to be mastered perfect, you have to get it mastered like 6 different ways just
Yep.
to make it to work. And I suppose being a musician, does that make the recording of music less fun than it used to be?
Not really for me, because that's why we have Perkins. That's why we go to him to handle that. As for us, like writing and just playing, we just kind of go into the studio, and what sounds good, we just go with, and then we send it off to him to work his magic. He's a great magician to me.
Yeah.
He's a sorcerer.
I think with as far as like on our side, it doesn't really change, but he knows how to get all the levels and stuff. And when he sends it to you, he tells you like what to do. Like if use this file, get the best sound, and use this file for CDs, use this for digital media and stuff like that, videos. So he does all the work for you, and he definitely tells you like. We use just DistroKid, so he tells us like make sure when you upload it that it says, do you want all the volumes like normalized and all that stuff? Say no, because they do their own work, and then it kind of compresses a lot of the sound, and then it doesn't sound as good as you originally heard it. So
Well, it's the loudness wars is kind of what they refer to that as. Like, and it's tough because every band wants their stuff to stand out. And if you can do that by making it a little bit louder, and you want it to sound as loud as something else when it's on the radio or wherever, but it just keeps getting pushed and pushed, and there's only so much that you can do. And DistroKid, the checkbox. I mean,
Yep.
is it when you're filling the stuff out in all the forms, is it a little stressful because there are little boxes and
Yep.
little things, and
Yeah.
it's like once we send this, click the submit button, we're kind of like committing to.
Yep, you're locked into
Well,
it.
and the good thing about that is DistroKid does allow you to, like, you can go back and change a few things before it's live. But if you do it, it does delay it a little bit. Depending on how close it is to your release date. But for that's why double checks are good. So go back and look through it. But for the most part, it's been pretty easy. I think that's a pretty easy process for DistroKid to do that stuff. So.
Right, so I guess we covered mastering all right there.
We're pros now. Just come to us for it.
And I can't remember where you guys said you recorded the EP at.
Cherry Pit in
That's right.
down in Menominee Falls, right?
Yep.
I always mix that up.
We kind of got ahead of ourselves, but so before the mastering even takes place, you're tracking, and I'm guessing Cherry Pit did the mix.
Yep.
That they sent. Once they get the mix done, then that goes for mastering. So there's a lot of different hoops you have to jump through before the album's even out, or your release is even out. So as far as the mixing goes, do you guys agree on mixes typically when you get a copy of the mix, or is there usually something that one of the guys in the band hears and wants changed?
We'll say about 80%. Usually like through
sounds
the
good,
last about the last few singles and stuff we've done with him, he's kind of understanding more and more of our sound as we keep going back. Our first time around it was a little bit different, but I think now we're at that point where it's about 80%, and it's just like little things that we like, that we would want turned up or down or whatever. But for the most part, it's about 80% good to go. And it's just like little things like, oh, can you turn the synth up, or this bell, or a little bit less vocal on this one part or something. So
That's the time to just try things out and see if you
Yep.
like something better or worse. I know we had played with like clap sounds at one point and
Yep.
stick hits at one point, and those didn't make it on there because we just didn't prefer that. So that's the time to just try and mess around with stuff.
Well, a reminder to the viewers, we're going to be premiering a new song and video for Doozey coming up a little later in the show. But you've made it to the point in the show for our band reaction segment.
Oh,
yeah.
here we go.
Band reaction. Band reaction.
Nobody would open the doors to us. But Emmett's was one place that opened the doors to me. And that's why I go back and play there at Emmett's. That bar, there's a very few bars that open the doors. And when they open the doors to me, I never forget them. One of them was Polly and Hops in Oshkosh. One of them was Husby's. So these venues, as big as we are, we go and play in that venue, whether it's not about the money. A friend is always a friend till the day you're done. So you got to keep it that way. You never walk away from it. Now, I always believe in friendship first, family first. Everything else come later. These are my family, man.
Obviously, that was PETA from Unity.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that.
What's your reaction?
That's what it's like for us. We have bars and venues that have been there since the start, and that gave us a chance. I think every band kind of needs that to kind of get things kick-started. I know Camps and Combined Locks is a place where we first started getting shows, and Doug's a great guy there, and everybody there is awesome. So we play there every year. He had mentioned Barley and Hops in his session here, and we also played there. That was actually, I think, one of our first shows. Tony Anders got us a show in there playing with what was their name? The other band that was playing with us.
Baywood Park.
Baywood Park, yeah, and we played there, and that was one of our first gigs. So I think every band needs bars and venues like that. That just a close relationship is started, and they help you grow because then they put out word to other venues, and that helps you grow as a band and as a person.
Yeah, as long as you don't suck.
That's a good motto for everything in life.
So when you guys were starting out, that question originally started with, was it hard to get shows when he was starting out? And he was, we kind of got into the answer late, but he said he has kind of an allegiance to the places that kind of let him play, you know, when they didn't have a name built up. And you mentioned some places there. I mean, do you tend to try to play those places often? Is kind of like a, you know, a thank you and the relationship factor that they helped you guys when nobody really heard a Doozey?
Yeah, I mean, as far as camps, I know we still play there. Probably like 2 or 3 times a year or so. So that's always a good show. You know, it's always like just a fun time for everybody. Barley and Hops, we haven't played there in forever, but I know they haven't really been doing bands like they used to. Just kind of a different scene in Oshkosh right now. There's still places that do it, but it'd be nice to go back there and play again and just, you know, get that nostalgic feeling again. I know we played with, like Andy said, Verona Grove there a couple times. It'd be cool to like get a reunion at Barley and Hops and play with a couple bands or something. And
Doozey and Verona Grove.
yeah, that'd be cool.
I think Verona Grove, they're playing. It seems like they're playing again. They're doing,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're starting to pick things up.
Every
it
once in a
seems
while, I
like,
think
yeah.
they do like a show or two a month or something like that. So just play every once in a while.
Do you still keep in touch with people like Tony? Like, you guys friends where you just kind of reach out every once in a while and see how?
Mostly kind of every once in a while thing. You know, we all see each other's, you know, stuff on Facebook or whatever, and he's our last songs that we released, he, you know, sent us a message and say good tunes guys, and, you know, just kind of checking up. And yeah.
How does Cherry Pit differ from Studio H when you guys recorded at Studio H? I've heard a lot about Cherry Pit, and is that down in the Milwaukee area?
Yeah.
Yep.
How is that studio set up compared to some place like Studio H, which was, you kind of walked in, it was a room, and then the control room, and then the practice room? Is
Yeah.
it similar?
When you get down to the basics of it, there's a lot of similarities between the two. They each have a control room. They each have a room where you track drums in, and most of the time you're in the control room. If you're not a drummer, just sitting around watching the drummer play, and then when the drummer's done, you do the guitars and bass and all the other instrumentation, and then Cherry Pit has a vocal booth. I think they just remodeled it too,
Yeah.
and Tony we just did the vocal booth in the same room as the other tracking equipment, whatnot. And so when you get down to the basics of it, there's a lot of similarities. Where the big differences come from is like the producers themselves, their ideas, their directions they would like to try to push you to go in. And both guys did a really good job of trying to get the most out of us, especially me, because when I go into the studio personally, I put more pressure on myself in the studio than in a live show. I always tell people being in the studio is just kind of punching yourself in the crotch a bunch of times until you get a take you're happy with, you know? So, I mean, it's just about just trying to be who you are as a person and not letting the intimidation get you. And every producer has their own different way of getting you to relax a little bit.
And I think personally, it's just, you know, just a little bit different sound, because I think, you know, Tony, he's in Verona Grove, and they have like a sound that's closer to ours. So that was easier to get like that pop, you know, that pop sound and really get that to come through. And, you know, any of the little things as well as the synth and stuff that we have on any older tracks. And then with Eric, he kind of gets the, you know, he's a little bit heavier, but he understands like the pop route that we have and all the synth and stuff. So he really gets the rest of the music and gets the drums and the guitar out, and then filling in like with the synth. So it's a little bit different style, but they both like came through exactly how we wanted it and mixed it well, and could not complain on on any one of them. So
When you're recording drums, especially I think with the format you're going in now, drums first, and then do you take off, or do you stay for the duration of everything? Because that's a
No.
lot to sit through,
He
isn't it?
sleeps in the control room while
Yeah.
we're doing our guitar parts.
yeah, I pretty much sleep the whole time. Hey, it's warm. But no, usually for pretty much every song we've done, we track all we do all the drums first. It's just nice to get that, get the beat down and something for everybody to follow, and then pretty much know where you're at. And then it's nice because then I can start, and then I'm done the first day. And then after that, it's just, hanging around and chilling. And really, I just try to help come up with ideas for other stuff. So on this EP, just doing a lot of like, we had our basic parts for synth and stuff, but there's little things here and there like, oh well, what if we changed it to these two notes and like went up or down, like just little things like tweaking each sound a little bit, or just coming up with something extra for guitar, whatever it is, just another ear just to listen. Otherwise we probably wouldn't have half the things. So that goes with all of us. When we're not doing our parts, we're just standing around listening and making sure we got what we want and sounds good.
It's probably good that your stress level probably goes down after the drums, because
Oh, yeah.
Andy, I'm sure you're like, even when you're getting guitars tracked, you're probably thinking about, I have to do vocals next,
Yep.
or whatever. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably not like a good feeling in your stomach. How do you feel like when you're doing vocals? Do you feel your voice sounds different on playback than it is in your head?
Yep. Being in that vocal booth is intimidating because you're just by yourself and you're just in there locked in. And me, I just nitpick every little thing that I do. And so every take, I'm like, that sucked, that sucked, that sucked. And it's just me for like, when we do vocals, I know the past 2 times we've done them, I did all the songs in a day and it took like 9 hours both times. And at the end of the day, I was like, that sucked. Like, I was like, whatever. But it's, Eric and Tony both did a really good job of getting me to sound as good as I can, I think, on these recordings.
Like you were saying earlier, I think they both push you in their own ways, but it's trying to get you over that mental hump that, hey, it sounds good and you're doing great. Just trying to get you to go here. And I know sometimes you go down and you do what you're comfortable with, like especially playing live shows, how you kind of want it to sound when you start making the song. And then with their ideas, they're producers, and they know the direction, kind of where to go, and like other things to play with. So they get you to go get that extra level, and kind of make the extra magic for each song with the vocals and stuff, and they do a great job. So
Do you do any vocal exercises before? What's your normal lead into to recording?
My vocal exercises consist of panic attacks and no, just kind of warming up. I've been, with all the shows we've been having lately, and I was doing this a little bit in the studio too. I drink tea, warm tea. Sometimes it's too hot and then I burn my mouth, and then I'm like, well, this had the exact opposite effect that I wanted it to. But yeah, it's, for me, I could do as many vocal exercises and anything that I want. I'm still just gonna nitpick myself every little thing. And I think to a certain extent, a lot of artists and a lot of musicians have the same vibe as that, where they're never happy with themselves or what they're putting out, and that's what I think kind of pushes you to keep doing it.
especially when you guys asked me to do vocals as well, I'm like, oh.
We've got a question here we'll get to in a minute from Jerry. I saw something about imposter syndrome, where musicians feel like they're not, like, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's also in different occupations, where you
Okay.
feel like an imposter, like, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm not good enough. Do you ever feel that imposter syndrome, like kind of like when you
Yeah.
said, where nothing's good enough and you're just kind of like faking your way through it, kind of?
Yeah, I feel that, not even just in band stuff, but in just normal, regular, everyday life. And that's a depressing way to start off the morning if you're just getting up. But no, our record Play Pretend is pretty much about all that and all my different life experiences and how I don't feel like I fit in or I'm not meant to be doing what I've been doing, and it just feels off. And I think to a certain extent everybody kind of has that feeling at some point in their lives. I think that's just part of growing up and living life, is just trying to figure out where you think you should be, because I don't think you're meant to be anywhere personally. I just think you're just meant to experience it and just live life, and just try different things. But yeah, I definitely feel that, especially when you're in the studio, because it's like I said, you're just punching and punching and punching. So
I think that if you don't like feel like those kind of things, it's just a different feeling. But I think it makes it more authentic. Like when we do our tracks, when we play live, if you kind of don't feel that, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm up here, I'm good, yeah, what's up? And it's just kind of like, that cockiness.
that's
I
how
just
you
feel
sound
like
every show, though. You literally say that into the mic.
yeah. No, I think it just feels more authentic, like when you play and stuff, and just more personable and stuff. So, if you show your vulnerabilities to people, people eat that up. It's kind of, it's something to relate to, as opposed to, oh, there's just this band up there playing, and they're just playing music. So if you give them something like kind of personable and authentic, then I think that it plays well for us, and that's what it has for the past few years. So.
I like that you're the drummer, and your impression of people being up on stage was you doing this.
Oh, bass
You
player.
immediately went to the bass line, instead of like, oh yeah, we're cool. You just immediately went here.
Well, you forgot I played bass a little bit.
Yeah, I know
in
you
our
did.
Old band
I
about
know
10
you
years
did.
ago.
It just shows where your heart really is.
Bass? Mm-hmm. No,
That's why you're so hard on Ryan all the time.
no.
Oh, okay. Just no.
Thanks for the in-depth conversation on that.
Yeah.
We've got a question here from Jerry. Jerry hosts Amped Up Tuesday nights. He says, "Hey guys,
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
you guys have a long tenure as far as bands go, being together since 2010. What is the main factor you feel has kept the band going for all this time? Any plans to go on tour?"
The first part of that question, money. I'm just kidding. No, no, we're just best friends that just like doing this, and it's fun.
We
And
are?
I thought maybe.
Oh.
But anyways, no, we just like doing this. We like hanging out with each other. I'm kind of a homebody outside of the band stuff, so this is my time to get out and, as Dee would say, my time to shine. And so that's an inside joke with us. That's not so much inside anymore, but yeah. And then for touring, we've talked about it in the past. It's something that's been brought up many times.
I think it's kind of hard to tour with, being we play covers and stuff as well. So to fill out a show, it's possible. Like we can, go around and do a little Wisconsin thing or, surrounding states kind of thing. But it's just a little bit harder. But, obviously if we did our originals and we played mostly originals, yeah, that's very possible. Probably get a couple other bands in on that. But I think, a good starting point would be like, the college kind of areas. You get like Madison, Milwaukee, maybe La Crosse or Stevens Point, Eau Claire. You kind of go over to, Minnesota and get the Twin Cities area as well, or Chicago and stuff, and kind of start from there. And, if you play a couple shows everywhere, that'd be, like the starting point at least. But, got to get in contacts with other bands who, do original music as well, and kind of get your original stuff out there. And I know most of our covers we try to make our own anyways, and so playing some of those live are people really enjoy because it's not an exact cover, so it doesn't make us seem cover band, which that's what we strive for anyways, because originally when we started we wanted to be an original band. It's just a little bit harder in this area, so we have to do those originals, but making it our own and kind of making it something that we enjoy playing and don't play it exactly like everyone else does, and we play songs that not every other band plays. So I think that definitely has helped for us. So hopefully we can reach out to some surrounding areas. If anybody's watching, you want to reach out to us from Chicago or Minnesota or really anywhere, reach out to us and hopefully get a show.
We've got a question here, and I'll just get controversial before we get the caller's question. I think Doozey should be playing Mile music, and I believe that, like, Mile music. I love Mile music. I love the crew, but Doozey's got a solid catalog of original material, and penalizing a band just because they're trying to make a living around here and earn some money, I think, is not cool. Like, I just don't think that's right on Mile music. You guys don't have to respond, but that's just my opinion. You're on the air with Doozey. What's your question? Oh, we lost the caller.
You scared him away with that.
Call back.
See you
I
later.
I was using my dad voice there. Sorry. But anyways, so please call back. Very curious of the question, but yeah. Anyways, that's how I feel about that, and it's just not Doozey. There's lots of bands. I enjoy your guys' originals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the covers are awesome too, but it's just something I think in this area you have to do. And there's a lot of bands that Mile gets from out of the state that do the same exact thing that Doozey's doing here to make a living. Wild Adriatic is one of them. I like those guys too, but it's something that I don't agree with. So anyways, let's talk about the new video and the new song. So this is a premiere for you guys.
That it is.
I've been holding the questions towards the end of the show that I have for you about the video because it's not really fair to the people watching if they haven't seen the video. So let's play the video and hear the new song. Is there any way you want to set this up before we play it?
No, this is our new single from our upcoming EP. The EP is called It's Cool to Be Sad, and this song is called Do You Want to Get High With Me?
All right. This is a premiere,
World premiere.
world premiere on Code Zero Radio's Fox Cities Core. The brand new video from Doozey,
There
brand
it
new
is.
song. Do you want to get high with me? Great song, great video.
Thank you.
How long did it take you to get that video shot?
A few hours.
Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 hours total, something like that. Bunch of different locations. Shout out to Mark Goldie for helping us out with that and driving all over town to help us put it together.
Yeah, and thanks for the location, Dalton and Ben from Realm of Darkness. They do like a little haunted house. So, they had actually 2 buildings. So those were the 2 buildings that we used, and then we used one of their houses. So.
Well, you guys have done work with Mark Goldie before, so that he did one of your earliest videos, right?
Oh,
That's right, yeah.
Long time ago.
So now
Very first music video.
Yeah.
he's taking part in your latest video too. That's pretty cool. Mark, it's mentioned right now too. Mark started up the Rock Garden Live again a couple days ago, except it's called Live at the Rock. It was a great show, and I can't say it enough. If you haven't seen a show at Rock Garden, go check out one of the Live at the Rocks because it is like a great venue to see a band. It's in the round. It's like intimate, at comfortable seats. It's a great time. So definitely go see this before all of a sudden it's gone because people aren't supporting it, and then it's shoulda, coulda, didn't, and all that. So that's great. So Mark was involved with the video. I took a couple notes. I wanted to ask you about the address. You mentioned 253 North Bond Street, which drove me nuts because I'd put it into Google Maps, and I wasn't sure if it was in Appleton, Neenah, or Menasha, but it came up Neenah in a parking lot. I'm like, well, there must have been a house or something there, or there must be something special about that location that it was used in this video.
Nope.
I think somebody just made up an address and put that in there. So that's funny that you did that research on it and it's a parking lot. That makes it so much
bummer.
better.
We could make up something maybe for the future because I thought I had something there.
Maybe somebody subconsciously knows something about that address, but
That it was a parking lot.
yeah.
Well, let's see what else I had. You can see somebody at the beginning. There's somebody in the background if you look carefully. In one of the back rooms, you can see an arm, and it's really brief. I tried to pause it, but it was really hard to
I haven't seen that.
see. So I don't know who that was. I was going to ask you who that was, but I couldn't get like a good visual on the person.
It could have been one of the 2 that Dee had mentioned. Our good friend Ryan Purdy, who does sound for us every now and then. He was also in the video. It could have been him. Or it could have been our friend Devin. I work with Devin. He wasn't in the video, but he was flipping the light switches in a scene for us. Best light flipper you could possibly ever get. It could be him. So I don't know.
We had a
I
lot
didn't
of
even
random,
notice
yeah.
that.
There's
I'll
so
have to
many
check that
random
out.
things going on in that video.
Some guy named Ryan Patterson left a comment. He said, "Oh shoot, this interview was today." Ryan, nice. Was that a scream or a yell at the end of that video? A yell probably sounds
We'll see
better,
a
but
scream.
yeah.
Yeah, right in my ear. And nobody knew what was happening.
We missed you today, Ryan. I hope you're doing well.
Well, Andy did. We didn't. I'm just kidding. Love you, bud.
So the video, again, it was just a really fun video to watch. It looked like it was fun to shoot. I did notice like the scary kind of haunted house stuff in there.
Yeah.
I was trying to read what was on the note that was left at the door. So was that an actual, was there like did you guys actually type out a real
There
note
were
from the
words
record
printed
company?
on it. There were words printed on it. Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head what it was,
I
but
don't either.
there were words on there.
And then you just made something up besides the address.
I was also trying to figure out if when you came outside to get the note, if there's somebody behind the door holding that outer door open. And
Nope,
I
that
watched
was
a few times.
me. That was just me.
It slightly moved right at
Oh,
the end. I'm
okay.
like, was there somebody back there holding that? And I kept rewinding and I couldn't see any feet.
was
I
a
really
ghost.
wanted something like all I
Maybe,
got
yeah,
was
maybe it was a ghost.
the dead end address and the person they can kind of see in the video.
funny
That's
you did
it.
the research on that address. I love that.
So how's this song? Like the song is great. I love the song. Like
thank you.
how does this song tie in with the other three? Is it along the same vein or is it stylistically way different?
Kinda. The whole EP itself has more darker vibes to it. Not so much even in the instrumentation, but in like the vocals. A lot of these songs were written during the COVID lockdown, and so it was a lot of like dark, sad thoughts, and that's why the title's called "It's Cool to Be Sad." But this one's probably the hardest one off the record. The other ones are kind of, there's a punkier one, there's a more just kind of pure alt rock one. There's a love song at the end that's I'm really proud of. I like the instrumentation on that one. So this one I will say is definitely the harder one instrumentation wise.
Honestly, I think like from the EP, they're all a little bit different. So they like, jump in. I don't want to say styles, but like Andy said, you got like the poppier, punky one and the alt rock one. Then you have this heavier rock one. Then we got a softer one. So it kind of, in that aspect, it jumps. But you still, I think if you pay attention to the title of the EP and then you go back and listen to the songs and you think, or like just really listen to the lyrics and then think about like, that feeling, it all kind of embodies each other. So it all goes with each other. It just like with the music, you don't really see it right away. You don't hear it right away. So
We had a couple comments here. Morgan Liz said that music was fire. And the music video is fire. Bob Minter, 5 out of 5 on the song and the video. He's inspired to be a professional light flipper, which
Keep working, Bob. You'll get there. A man can dream.
who's doing the light flipping?
That's our friend Devin. He
Yes.
just showed up, hung out with us. He just wanted to see what it was like to do a video and whatnot. And we couldn't find a spot for him because we already had the monsters all planned out. So we were just like, flip this light switch. He was like, okay. So he did that.
Did Mark Goldie do the editing for the video too, or did
Yep.
he did? Okay, great. How important do you think music videos are for bands? Because you do see it once in a while, but you don't see like videos with plots, especially in the Fox Cities. You don't see it that often. Like it's
Yeah. For me, I always go back to what Dave Grohl has always said, and that they're just eye candy. It's just more promotion for the song and just have fun with it. And I've always been of the mindset, I've always told you, I like to make them funny. I like to have some comedy aspects to them just because for me, comedy catches my attention. So I feel like a lot of people buy into that and they like to laugh and like to have fun, and that's what we are. So
sometimes the cheesier the better.
Yeah.
Like it's like it seems like, oh, this is so cheesy, but at the same time you're like, this is funny. And that we've always all bonded over, comedy things, so we always have a lot of laughs in the car, and shows and stuff. So
Well, I guess that's why you guys have been together so long again, too, to go back to Jerry's question, because you're actually friends.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's not- but I mean, technically, you're business owners together too, if you look at it from that perspective. But if you don't look at it from that perspective, who's the one in the band that drives as far as let's do this, let's do that, let's
well,
book our
physically,
lives?
I drive most of the
Well,
time.
not,
You do drive a lot. I've been driving more lately.
Yeah.
is there somebody
Thanks
in
for
the
that.
is there somebody in the band that like pushes, wants to push the band to the next level, like as far as like let's get the next step up, or is that
don't-
pretty much all three?
I think that's all three of us. I think Ryan really, pushes us a lot. Tries to, get as many shows as we can, get the big shows. Talks to a lot of people. Music wise, Andy does. He tries to make up as many songs as he can, and we've probably got another 15, 20 songs in the vault that we never released or played or anything either. So we've consistently got a lot of stuff going on, and I think for the most part I pretty much I'll do like our some of the album stuff and like release stuff, and, all the extra intricates of behind the scenes kind of stuff. But I think we all have that push to like be at that next level, which is what we've been trying to do the last few years. I think just more so recently, it's kind of, paying off a little more where, we're constantly playing, and just kind of playing music and getting our name out there. And I know Andy has said this a few times. He's like, I feel the best way to get out there is just to play music, play songs, and play shows. And I think that holds true. It's just, you got to do with social media getting bigger and bigger all the time, different outlets and stuff. Uh, you have to push that route as well. But the best way, I think the more authentic way is to, get out there and just play shows. And that's how people hear about you instead of, oh, we heard a song about you, but then we go see you live and you don't sound anything like it. So that's another thing with our all of our music. We try to get it as close to what we're gonna sound like live, so you don't get those, oh, we sound great on a record, but live we're not that great. So
We speaking of live, our friends over at Fox Cities Live commented. They said hey, you guys should send over the upcoming show so they can add them to their Fox Cities Live page.
oh yeah, sure,
Let's do it.
absolutely.
So check them out, Fox Cities Live on Facebook. Good source. There are a lot of people in the area that don't know how to kind of find out where bands are playing. 'Cause there's so many places to look, but Fox Cities Live's a good one to follow, and definitely send your stuff into them.
Sounds good. We'll get on that.
So what's the next step for Doozey? What's the next? Getting the EP released, obviously, and the videos out there in the world now. It's all
Just-
downhill from here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Can't get much better. I'm just kidding. No, we're always a band that likes to try to ride the momentum wave a little bit. And once we get one thing going, we just kind of try to like to keep the ball rolling. So I think for right now, it's just pushing this EP, the new songs, and keep playing shows. We got another busy part of the schedule coming up here over the next month or so. I know next week we're playing at Paperfest, and just keep playing shows for right now. We're still working on adding new songs to our set, and we're always working on new originals and demos and whatnot. So just to keep pushing forward like that.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. It's
Thanks for having us.
great having you back here.
It's great to be back.
Big fan of Doozey, and I love the new video, the new song. I think it's great. You guys are doing
Thank you.
writing some really great songs, and hopefully they get into more ear holes soon. You can check out the video again if you want to watch it. You can go to Doozey's YouTube page, and there's lots of other. If you're just discovering Doozey today, there's a lot of other videos on there. A funny one, old days. There's some humor in there. I watched that one again last night with my son. He
you.
just loves the part with Dee eating the cupcake.
That was a fun part.
Go subscribe to them on YouTube. Follow them on Facebook, and check out. We've had the shows kind of crawling on the bottom of this, but go check them out live. They're a really fun band to see live.
Thank you.
And yes, you're going to see some covers on some shows, but it's seeing Doozey's a fun time, and you're going to hear songs and you're going to hear some songs that you didn't know that are Doozey songs that you're going to love. So You guys are welcome back anytime. Thank you,
Thank
V,
you.
Andy.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for watching Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio.